One day, Reverend Emily Denton, the Unitarian Universalist minister of the church in the town Debbie and Carrie live in, got a letter from another minister. A Baptist one from another town about 60 miles away. Dear Reverend Emily Denton, I am the Reverend Jason Benson. I would like to meet with you at a time convenient for us both to talk about our religious and moral differences. I and my church belong to the Southern Baptist Convention, and I understand the church you work at was also once Baptist. I'd like to understand why it changed. Reverend Denton sent a reply.
Sure, I'd be happy to meet with you at a location in my town. Here is my email address.
And so they eventually agreed to meet at the Tuscany Tavern.
Sandy, I chose the Tuscany Tavern for my meeting with this other minister because it is a public place and I want people there I trust. I am a bit concerned about why he wants to see me. You should be concerned. After news of our church defecting from the Southern Baptists came out, I, Lucy and Jessica actually got death threats. We were blamed for the defection, as if we were evil, but all we ever did was tell the truth and ask to be treated like fellow human beings. If that's evil, what the hell does it mean to be good?
And so on that day, Reverend Denton and Reverend Benson came together, along with others. Welcome to the Tuscany Tavern. What would you like to order? A small pepperoni pizza and a glass of apple juice. And I will be sitting with the Reverend Emily Denton. She is expecting me. A moment later. Thank you for agreeing to meet with me. I think we have much to discuss.
So what did you want? A debate? You wish to directly challenge my own beliefs?
No, I won't try to convert you to Christianity. I just want to understand what happened last year. The entire Southern Baptist Convention was shocked at your church's defection.
I wasn't there when the split occurred. I only joined as its minister later. But here is one of those you really should talk to. Carla Jenkins. Hello. I was a leading member of the church when it was Baptist, and I later led it to become Unitarian Universalist. It didn't happen overnight. The process started when the owner of this restaurant, Sandy Smith, confronted me about my treatment of her daughter in my English class. The problem is not merely your religion. I really don't care what you believe. The real issue is bigotry. Imagine if you lived in a mostly Muslim country and a teacher was trying to force the Quran on your Christian child. Or you were in an atheist country and your child's teacher was forbidding any mention of the Bible in its stories. That is exactly what you have been doing to Debbie and Carrie. If all religious or non-religious views are treated as equals under the law, you cannot give special or exclusive treatment to any of them. Haven't you ever heard of the Golden Rule? Of course, do unto others as they would do unto you. Exactly. That's all I am asking for. The assumption that Christianity and the Bible have a monopoly of moral ideas in this world is a falsehood that anyone knowing the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth about religion would have to admit. I wasn't a match for her arguments, and for the first time in years, I felt humbled and ashamed of myself. That was when my attitude about Christianity began to change. I still wanted to be Christian, but I could never go back to being that fundamentalist again. Later, the minister at the church back then, Reverend Dave Owen, confronted me about the matter.
Carla, I am very disappointed in you. Your compromising with those corrupt people could corrupt you in turn. You are either committed to the cause of God, or not. Those atheists and lesbians do not belong in this town. We as Christians should control it and no one else.
What do you want us to do? Lynch them? Even the Bible forbids that.
In the same Bible there are many instances of when the people of God rose up against the unbelievers and defeated them.
Like in Numbers chapter 31, perhaps.
So basically, your minister at the time was trying to get you to ignore or even break the law. That's disturbing.
Yes. And I think that's why he justified in his own mind the burning down of our church. He committed an act that was clearly evil while claiming to be fighting for something good, the Christian faith. I couldn't accept it at all, so that is why I am now atheist.
I was really hoping for something different today, but all you have done is make my own nagging doubts louder.
What do you mean?
I grew up in my church, and my father was a minister. When I was a teen, I felt like God was calling me to the ministry, just like my father before me. But now my faith has been shattered. How can I go back and face my congregation, my family, my fellow Baptist ministers?
I am myself a Christian and always have been. You don't need to abandon your faith to be enlightened as I and Carla are. I have a suggestion. Do you remember the parable of the Good Samaritan?
Of course.
Jesus was answering a question from a fellow Jew, who is my neighbor. So Jesus referred to a member of a despised minority in the land of the Jews. Today, the phrase Good Samaritan is used to mean any kind and helpful stranger, but that waters down its meaning. To recapture the parable's original meaning, you should replace the Samaritan with the good homosexual or the good atheist. Jesus said, "Your neighbor is the one who helps you." And he also said, "Love thy neighbor as thyself." He did not say to only love those who share your religion.
Wow! You are exactly right.
We must keep in mind that there will always be those who cling to the outward form of a religion, like Reverend Owen, or the Jews who rejected Jesus, and that makes a religion useless in making people better. It's like food that is poisoned. The nutritional value of the food doesn't matter if consuming the poison and the food kills you. And another thing to consider is what Jesus taught about what would happen to many of his own followers in the future. He said, "Not everyone who says to me, 'Lord, Lord,' will enter the kingdom of heaven, but only the one who does the will of my Father who is in heaven. Many will say to me on that day, 'Lord, Lord, did we not prophesy in your name, and in your name drive out demons, and in your name perform many miracles?' Then I will tell them plainly, 'I never knew you. Away from me, you evildoers.'"
Matthew chapter 7 verses 21 through 23. And Jesus also taught in that same chapter, "You will know them by their fruits. Every good tree bears good fruit, but a corrupt tree bears evil fruit. A good tree cannot bear evil fruit, nor can a corrupt tree bear good fruit." And the long bloodly history of Christianity speaks for itself. I think I understand now. I may remain in the Southern Baptist Convention, but I am going to start searching Unitarian Universalist websites for sermon topics to use to push the congregation I minister to in a more liberal direction. Because Jesus was in his time a liberal among Jews. He saw the need for change among his people, as do I among mine. Thank you for having me here.